James, most of the time when we do our Premier League predictions videos, we talk about how every other game is a London derby. Now, what that is your team, Arsenal. And I'm just going to give a little bit of a foundation, a little bit of a basis for this video, and I'm going to let you go off. Basically, you can vent, you can have your kind of moment here. Arsenal, joint in terms of form over the last three games over the festive period with Sheffield United, not in good company there. Only team worst form over the last three games is Brentford, who've been appalling with Thomas Frank very much so on the hot seat. James, you're 2 points off Liverpool now. Liverpool have a game in hand in a game at Anfield, which you'd imagine they're probably going to win, I believe, against Newcastle United. Saka's goal must have gone in. You must have felt great about this, about this game. What happened to your team? And also, can you expand out maybe a little bit on how you're feeling now about Arsenal's title chances and just your general sentiment towards this team? Because this felt like a game that you really needed to win.
Every game needs to win. We have to win every game because our Arsenal ambition is not to be in the top four; it's to win the Premier League. We put ourselves in a position last season that we had a great chance. We didn't take it, and now we're in this position where it looks like we're just squandering it before we even get to that crunch part, Jack. And it's really disappointing there. My frustrating part about this, and I've said this on a number of occasions, that we are not better than last season. Yeah. And people try to look at it saying, oh, listen, this team is so much better. Defensively, they're so much better. Declan Rice has made Arsenal better. I looked at it, Jack. You look at the defensive stats, not better than last season. And offensively, Jack, it's not even a debate, Jack. In the last 5 games, Jack, Arsenal have scored 2 goals from open play. 2 goals from open play, Jack. Yeah, that is just ridiculously poor, and there's so many things that I can point out, Jack. So many things, Defensively, the goalkeeper issue here, there is Araya, is Ramsdale. Partially, I don't really care too much because they're not two goalkeepers that to me set the world alight. They're not world classes as people say. They're just good goalkeepers, and we put in this situation here where who do we want? The fans are a big Ramsdale. Arteta is a Raya fan. I'm not too bothered about that. Defensively, Jack, are 2 centre-backs. I'm quite happy with them. I think this is the best partnership that we've had probably since Colo Touré and Sol Campbell, Jack. That's how good I rate these two fullbacks. That's been a massive issue. This season. Tomiyasu hasn't played that well. Ben White has been totally off it. Zinchenko from last season was, to me, out of all four of them, he was the best one. He is totally off. And then I look at like what they've offered. It's been down the drain. Going into midfield, Jack, we lost Granit Xhaka. Yeah, we lost Partey. Well, Partey's still at the club, but doesn't play anymore because he's injured all the time. We bring in Declan Rice. We bring in Kai Havertz.
Very quickly, is Partey injured? Like, is he?
Listen, we're not gonna get into that one there. But Jack, I'll be honest with you. I've been listening to a lot of Arsenal fans saying Declan Rice has made Arsenal better. Oh, listen, 100 million. We got him on a bargain. All that nonsense there. No, ultimately, Declan Rice is doing some really good things, and off the ball, he's fantastic. But he hasn't made Arsenal better on the ball. Yeah, and that's to me the biggest thing. Teams sit back and say, break us down. That's something that he's not really great at, like doing. If I pay £105 million for a midfielder, I want that and more. Nonsense that telling me Declan Rice has made us better. We should get West Ham more. Arsenal fans, get a grip, man. Seriously, they need to get a grip. The Kai Havertz thing, here, there, everywhere.
But what's your fix now? You can be the board of directors, you can be the chief scout, you can be the manager. What does Arsenal need to do? Because, James, let's be honest, okay? The sentiment after today's game was very negative, because Liverpool probably going to win. There's a bit of a gap. City, we know De Bruyne is going to be back soon. Haaland will be back soon. They're going to start firing, and they're probably going to go on this 12, 13 game unbeaten run that everyone talks about. Villa, nice and surprising here. Spurs are getting more fit. Manchester United going to get some players back in January. West Ham kind of really surprising and doing well as well. What do Arsenal need to do to separate themselves? And James, let's be honest, take advantage of Man City of late somewhat underperforming.
Well, Jack, we haven't. You mentioned what could Arsenal have done. We had the opportunity when City have gone through this bit of a lull this season. Let's be honest, City haven't started that well. They've been through the Club World Cup. Paul has been injured. Kevin De Bruyne has missed the majority of the time. Daku's out. They got so many stuff that's going on. John Stones in and out. We haven't took advantage of that. The one team that has is Liverpool at this moment in time. And Jack, you mentioned the team and how can we make it better? No. How about this? These players need to play better. To me, it's very, very, very simple at times. Yeah, if Martinelli isn't able to beat his man going down the line or even cutting it inside it all the time, he needs to do more. He needs to make better positions when he does receive the ball. Granted, players need to help him. Players need to help around the ball. When you get a player 1v1, even on a 2v1, there's better decisions that you can make on the ball. Gabriel Jesus, I love him. Like Jack, when he's on it, like he makes me purr when he does some stuff. Right. He makes me purr.
Bit of a Suarez. He can have that kind of Suarez vibe at times.
Jack, even more that's South American. But the thing about Suarez that makes everybody go crazy is that Suarez is a killer. Right. Suarez gets into that final third, you know he's going to score goals. I can't rely on Gabriel Jesus to score goals. And Jack, I'm sorry. If we signed you for that much, yeah, and we claim you to be that man, if I can't rely on you in the big moments to get us out of trouble, you're not really that guy then. You know, and ultimately, Jack, we have to bring somebody in. It's very, very simple.
I also think, James, the benchmark class at the moment as a football team is Manchester City. It has to be. I don't think that's up for debate. Treble winners, 3 in a row, maybe 4 in a row if they pull something out here at the second half of the season. If they're letting players go, there's a reason a lot of the time where they're being let go. Now, I don't think Gabriel Jesus was ever going to be the man after Sergio Aguero. He was always going to be that backup guy. But for them to let him go, to let Zinchenko go, these kinds of guys to go, I don't know if they're ever going to be starting players in, relied upon star players in title-winning teams. I think you and I agree. I'd probably have him maybe off one of the wing positions with a striker maybe that he can play off. But James, another thing you and I have talked about, what's the market for strikers right now? Because I saw a news report saying that Brentford want 100 million for Ivan Toney. Now, I don't think Ivan Toney is a bad football player, but what is the state of the market when somebody like Ivan Toney is costing that kind of money? Because I don't know where else in the striker market you're going to look for that means that Arsenal are going to be relatively comfortable paying that kind of a fee. I wanted to ask you this because you'd know this better than anyone. Does Eddie Nketiah need more of a chance? Because, James, again, I'm not telling you that he's the guy, you're going to win a league, 38 games, Eddie Nketiah, 30 goals a year. But, James, I feel like every time he's played so far this year, he's produced goals, and we talk about him.
Jack, let me give you Jack, who started at Arsenal's main striker today?
I'm not going to lie to you. I was at work. I don't watch the game.
Jack, it was Eddie Nketiah. Do you know how many goals Eddie Nketiah has away from home this season in the Premier League, Jack? Zero.
And how many winning goals? Yeah.
The Eddie thing is the Eddie thing. He can come in and have a difference once in a while. But you're not going to win anything with Eddie as the main striker. Jack, I'll be honest with you. You're not going to win anything with Gabriel Jesus as the main striker. What made Gabriel Jesus so great before was that he made the players around him better. So Odegaard was popping off when he was there. Saka was popping off when he was there. Martinelli was popping off when he was there. And you kind of look past Gabriel Jesus' lack of output. Now, when these players aren't performing, the first thing that, Jack, you're going to look at in front of the goal is, who's our main guy? You are. What's going on? Yeah. Right. And swinging over to the guy I just mentioned, Jack, Bukayo Saka. Yeah, we love him. I love him. Ultimately, Jack, his performances has dropped. And the biggest thing that I hate when I listen to fans talk about it, Bukayo Saka needs some help. He needs backup. No, he doesn't need backup. I hate that word backup. Bukayo Saka needs competition. Players need competition. Martin Odegaard needs competition, Jack. What I mean by that is players that are actually going to challenge him. Not like, listen, let me take a few weeks off. You just fill in for me. No. Players that if I play bad, they're going to replace me.
Competition for Saka. Is that Trossard, would you say?
No, Jack, it's somebody else. It's like, Jack, it's somebody else. Right now, it's not in the squad. Jack, it's not in the squad. We have to go and fish out for that player. And if it's something that we have to go and look at, maybe Serge Gnabry from Bayern Munich or I don't know, wherever. We might look outside of Europe. Let's do that. Jack, a player who's been available, and I just seen that today, for 13 million euros.
I know, don't do this to me. I know. Listen, I know.
Why not something?
I know,
like
and he'd be amazing.
Amazing for
He'd be
Arsenal.
amazing
You
for
know,
Arsenal. He would.
ultimately,
I can't even pretend that. Like I'd be sad. Your only issue with Dybala, and I hate to do the whole dollars and cents thing. He comes in probably as your highest earner. He
Jack,
would
I'm not
have to
Jack.
come in.
I'm not trying to do all the maths and everything like that.
No,
I'm trying to
look,
do what makes sense on a football field. And what
I
makes
hear
sense on
you.
the football field right now, Jack, is bringing in quality to one we have. Jack, my
You're
biggest thing
right.
with Arsenal is
Yeah,
that our fans completely overrate our football players. We
I know.
overrated Martin Odegaard. We overrated as much as I love Saka. We overrated Saka. Overrated Martinelli. Declan Rice is coming. We've already overrated
But
him. It's
it's
like
but
this squad
but
is
what I'm
good,
saying, what I'm
but it's
saying
not at that
is,
level, Jack.
if he's fit and he plays, great, you're fine. He can be your highest earner and it's no problem. If he comes in even for 13 million euros, but he's on 300 grand a week, 250 grand a week, and his soft tissue injury, knee, ankle, right? He only just came back from being off for a couple of weeks against Juve yesterday. So again, it's the rough and the smooth with this, and the problem at the moment is the market for these attacking players. It in the center is appalling. If you want a winger who is on the opposite side of his strong foot, who can cut in and shoot, right, the inside forward type that we're seeing all over the place now, you can pay 15 million and get a killer easily. You want a central striker, proper striker, you need to pay 80, 100 plus million. Evan Ferguson, who I like, who, by the way, hasn't really done anything yet, is being quoted at over 100 million. Ivan Toney is just above average, I would argue, like
Hundred
Premier League
percent,
striker,
100%, Jack.
over 100 million. It's meant Rasmus Højlund had how many Serie A goals did he have? Six, I
9.
think. 80. What did he cost? Like this is the market that we're operating in. That's the reason I guess I brought up the Eddie Nketiah thing. I didn't know he started today. That's insane.
But Jack, another thing that we have to question, Jack, is Mikel Arteta.
Right.
Because ultimately, as good as he's done to bring Arsenal back to where Arsene Wenger left us at, well, we probably out of the Champions League at that point. Are we going to be successful with him as our manager?
You first of all, you know what I'm going to say, and I'm hoping you've got your answer ready.
Jack, Jack. We have to ask this question at some point because it's like, listen, first season, yeah, won the FA Cup, unbelievable, and that gave him a lot of breathing space. Since then, Jack, it's been build up to the disappointment, build up to disappointment. This season, after you get your £100 million player, you get your Kai Havertz that everybody didn't want. You got to deliver. Yeah, we have Jack. Listen, I'm not going to jump to conclusions right now. This season there's still a lot left in this season. The problem is right now is that we know what those two behemoths in front of us can do because they won't give you an inch. Liverpool and Man City, especially City, if you drop off and they smell blood, it's game over.
It's over.
Yeah. So.
And also expect a central midfielder from Man City in January. I don't know who it's going to be, but expect somebody to come through the door where you go, gee, damn, that's a good player, right? Or something like that. Maybe Mateus Nunes starts playing well. Vardiol, is his form going to continue to be bad? Probably not. De Bruyne comes back. City are relentless in that way. Who do you have I know the cliche name is Zidane, to bring up Zidane.
No, I'm not Jack. I don't want to hear about the man. I don't want to hear about bringing in. No, I don't want to hear about that. That's a long way away. I'm asking the question is he going to take us forward? And I want to know from Arsenal fans, do you believe he's going to take us forward? Because ultimately, we're right there. But the point is, Jack, I've been waiting 20 years to break that glass ceiling. I want that moment to happen. I want to look and see that goal, Arsenal #1, with that with that C sign there, on the top of the Premier League table. I want to win the Champions League. Is he going to deliver that for us? That's the biggest thing.
Your other issue as well, Rice. He's not done his ACL, and then Kai Havertz has broken his arm, and they're just not available. And you go, oh well, if they're available, we'll be a different team. It's like, no, like they both play and have good minutes. And this other goalkeeper, which you've created this controversy for, you signed him and he plays, and we're seeing so like you said, all this money's been spent. The players are fit, available, ready. And what are the reaction at the moment? Because James, especially the way it's looking, I can try and bring up some Arsenal fixtures here going forward over the next couple of weeks. So FA Cup game, Liverpool, right, at home against Crystal Palace, which is tricky. Nottingham Forest, then Arsenal at home to Liverpool, away at West Ham. Those are two tough games in a row.
Uh, Jack, as I said, football, the biggest thing in football is to win games. You know, I've seen how many you see Manchester United fans, they win a game, we're back in it, and then I'm not gonna go too up and down right now. I'm
No,
gotta look at this from the point of view. Can we get back on the run? Can we find ourselves back in a position where we can compete? But if we constantly start playing like this, especially offensively, we're not gonna find ourselves in a title race, Jack. We're gonna find ourselves in a battle for the top four. And that's not where we want to be. We want to be
yeah,
challenging with the big boys. I don't want to be a bit too reactionary and go, oh, get rid of this, get rid of that. But my thing right now is that we have a bunch of players right now who we have a bunch of players that are overrated because it's almost like they've already proved something. When Jack, they haven't proved that anything. We don't have Champions League
no,
winners. We don't have Premier League winners. We don't have players who won multiple titles
no,
in different places. We have players who, let's be honest, have so much to prove. And I listen to a lot of fans. They talk about these players like they've done something. No, we
right,
know. Listen, we've seen players who've done something. If anybody can brag, it's City, and even
right.
Liverpool to a
Oh,
certain point. You know, even Liverpool to a certain point. We have so much to prove right now as a club. And I just want us to right now get back to where we are, get back to where we was at the time, especially offensively. And Jack, let's get this title race going again right now because I do not want to go through another season trophyless.
of
That is
disappointment.
a
I and I
no-no this
think
season.
that second place finish has left a big scar, and I don't know if that's going to be. We talked about it at the time. That was a tough. Last year was a tough one to take, and even if you're circumspect about it, and you say, "Where did everybody have you in the predictions?" and you've overachieved, blah blah blah. You and I talked about it. If you come that close and you have that kind of a gap, and you look at the games and where that gap then got closed, and then you lost, like you could have won that. And you've said it there. Second place is not a trophy, and you're not going to be remembered. There's not going to be a statue for you guys for finishing second, right? You need to go out and actually win and achieve something. James, we'll cap it off here because we've been going for a little while now. Do you think this gets recovered to a point that you're back up, maybe you're top at some point again, and it's a title challenge, or do you think we kind of stave off here and Arsenal are back to kind of this top four fight that we've seen for many years?
I'm gonna remain hopeful, Jack. As much as they've given me really nothing to be as hopeful for, in the Premier League this season, I'm gonna say that we have the ability to get back in this title race. Granted, like the two teams in front of us, they have to drop points, and that's the biggest thing. Liverpool, as much as they play bad, they have so many killers out there. They don't look like dropping points in City or City. But I'm gonna like to say that the next few games we're gonna get ourselves back to winning ways. That I'm just gonna be hopeful. My eyes ain't giving me hope, but my heart is telling me just be hopeful.
It's rough. What I will say is I agree with you. First of all, I do think Arsenal will be back in somewhat of the something that resembles a title challenge, right? I don't know if you win the title, but I do think you'll be back challenging for that. James, not because I'm really impressed with Arsenal and the patterns of play and how they're doing and the performances of the players, because James, everybody around them has question marks. Liverpool, who are marks around them. The performances, despite the results, have not been
No,
amazing, jaw dropping Liverpool that we've seen from old. Man City, we've seen bumps in the road. Villa, this is Aston Villa we're talking about. Is this going to be sustainable? Spurs were the darlings early, got some injuries, are down. Newcastle, what the hell's going on with them? Manchester United are a complete dumpster fire. Chelsea are happy in 10th. So I think Arsenal, to a certain extent, have to make hay while the sun shines here and profit from the fact that not everybody's doing well at the moment. Arsenal fans, most importantly, you can maybe quiz me on some of the things I've said, but I believe James has kind of poured his heart out here a little bit, giving you his true, honest thoughts on how he's feeling about this team, especially after this pretty dire Christmas period that Arsenal Football Club have had. Let us know in the comments. We will reply to all comments, especially from Arsenal fans who want to give a considered opinion. Drop a like on the video if you like what you've seen. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. We're just at the end of the year, and unfortunately, I don't think me and James are going to hit our 1,000 subscriber target. But if you're watching this video and you want to help us get there in January, we would really appreciate it. James, you want to finish us off?
guys, let's get ourselves to 1,000. And if you're an Arsenal fan, I'm gonna get your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the game. And this is Box Football, and me and Jack will see you guys next time.